We ready? Beautiful. Okay, brothers and sisters, today, August the 19th, I call to order the general meeting of the NAACP for Arundel County. And what I would like to do is I would like to start off with a prayer. This is normal in the NAACP meetings. Let us pray. Know therefore this day and consider it in thine heart that the Lord, he is God, in heaven above and upon the earth beneath, there is none else. Lord, Deuteronomy 4:39, Lord, we come before you knowing you're the only God, there is no other. We thank you for your son, Jesus, who died for us on Calvary's cross. Lord, we ask that you reign supreme in the meeting. Control our hearts, control our minds, control our tongues, season them with love. Let us show respect for one another, even if we do not agree with one another with everything. We ask, oh God, that you have your way in this meeting and that everything that we do, everything that we say, everything that we think will show honor to the great NAACP and its magnificent work in this country. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Thank God. Amen. Amen. Okay, everybody have a chance to look at the agenda. I know it was sent out by way of email. And if you get a chance to look at the agenda, I just need to get a motion for approval of the agenda and a second of that motion. So if you want to take a look over that right quick, it's kind of the normal agenda that we have. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda after you finish looking at it right quick?
I move we approve the agenda as written.
Okay, so,
This is Mary Dodoni.
all right, you have that, Mr. Downey.
I second
Move.
that.
Move. And who's second? Who's the name person seconding?
Linda Davis.
Linda Davis and Carol Smith. We got 2 seconds. Okay. All right. Beautiful. Okay. Sounds good. All right. The minutes of the previous meeting, I don't know if you had a chance to look over that. I had a chance to read them. So everything seems to be in order based on what I reviewed. For those who did get a chance to review it, you can make a motion that we approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
I move we approve the minutes of the previous meeting as submitted, pending editorial corrections that may come to our attention afterwards.
Second, you heard that, Mr. Downey, Dr. Dodoni, and Reverend Jenkins. Okay, at this point, brothers and sisters, what we want to do is before we start our reports from officers, and which we're going to be sharing the great work of the particular committees of the NAACP for Anne Arundel County, we have a guest speaker, and Officer Horn has come to our attention, at least at the Caucus of African American Leaders and through the chief, about the magnificent work he's doing with people who are returning from prison and incarceration and helping them get back on their feet. And so what I would like to do at this time is I would like to turn the meeting over to Officer Horn to give us some historical perspective on this great program that's occurring in the Annapolis Police Department. Officer Horn, you may proceed, sir.
Okay, can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Am I blocking the screen? Can you see the slides?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. Okay, good morning, everyone. All right. Thank you for inviting me to come in and share about the work we're doing in the Annapolis city. So I'm Officer Horn with the Annapolis Police Department. I've been with the department now for a little over 3 years. I retired from Baltimore City Police Department. I spent 26 years with the Baltimore City Police Department. And in Baltimore, we started a reentry program. Actually, it was a diversion program that started back in 05. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, born and raised in Baltimore, went to Woodlawn High, graduated in 1988. After high school, went in the military, went in the Army like directly after high school. I think that was like one of the best things that I could have done looking back. I spent 4 years active duty. I was stationed in Fort Hood, Texas, and I was an artillery guy. So I spent a lot of time training in the field and doing a lot of traveling. I deployed to the first Gulf War. I came back and was honorably discharged in '92. And I re-enlisted for the National Guard. and I retired from the National Guard. But in '94, I applied for the Baltimore City Police Department, and I never thought that I would, join the police department. But having joined the military, that really kind of changed everything about me. I mean, the military really matured me, and it really gave me a sense of direction and discipline, and I was just exposed to a lot. So I felt like I could make a difference. And growing up in Baltimore, I have a lot of family members from Baltimore City, and we were scattered out through the city. So I had family members in West Baltimore, East Baltimore. So I had a taste of both Baltimore County and Baltimore City life. So I understood the culture. I understood some of the social problems in the community. So I felt like coming from Baltimore, I could best serve the community. And so my first district that I worked was Southwest, and I'm not sure if any of you familiar with some of the areas in Baltimore City, but Southwest District, the area that I first started in was an area called Walbrook Junction. So Poplar Grove, North Avenue area, North and Longwood. It was back during those days. It was like the Wild Wild West, as they say. So and the thing that struck me was when I started seeing my childhood friends in the condition that they were in. In that 4 years that I left and went in the military, and then, came home and joined the police department, and the people that I went to high school with, some of my friends, and even family members, to just see, how the drugs and just that underworld really changed their lives. And I was thinking like, wow, having joined the military, I was away from all of that. And so I realized that, that could have been me, had I made those bad choices.
Tom, sorry for just interrupting you, sir. I'm sorry I didn't give you a time limit because I want people to know, because we got a lot of reports. So about 10 minutes to 11 if possible.
Okay.
So I don't miss the substance of what you're saying.
Okay.
Because that's the important thing when we
Gotcha.
get all that.
Okay.
So thank you, sir.
Let's go to the slide. Next slide. So in '05, we started a program called Get Out the Game, and it was started by Commissioner Ham. So he was the commissioner at that time in 2005. And what he wanted to do was to come up with some type of diversion program, because we started to see gangs. We got a gang problem in Baltimore City, unlike Annapolis. We have serious problems with Bloods, Crips, BGF. So Commissioner Ham wanted to start a program to divert, to catch those who were at risk, to get them in some kind of program that would assist anyone who wanted to get out of the criminal underworld. And so the goal was to provide resources and just tap into those resources that's in Baltimore City and kind of bring it all together. And the police department would be the router to connect these individuals to these resources. So everything from jobs to education to housing and drug, substance abuse treatment. We pulled in a lot of partners, and they agreed that this would be an excellent program to kind of divert the at-risk population. So we had a targeted age range from 18 to like 26. That was the targeted age range. And so this photo here is during the Freddie Gray riots. And this is actually one of the guys, this is the guy who actually filmed Freddie Gray. And what we were doing was bringing calm to the city during that particular time. And as you see, Pennsylvania Avenue, this was what they called ground zero. And the reentry from, and this was what, 2015, I believe, but how the reentry, how the diversion program, how it grew into reentry ultimately was the key factor to bringing calm into the community, 10 years later when the riot started. Let's go to the next one. The next slide. So as I mentioned, the partners that we had, vocational training programs, employers, and here when we talk about employers, we were connected to employers that were paying over minimum wage. We wanted the individuals to make livable wages, not just minimum wage. So landscaping companies, construction companies, we connected with the bakeries, H&S bakeries, and all of these different employers that would give a second chance. And then we connected with parole and probation, and the Department of Public Safety and Corrections and the courts. So we started working with the court system. We started going inside the correctional facilities. I am a chaplain in the prison. I started in '98. So I started at pretrial in Baltimore, and then eventually I went DOC. There was a shortage of Muslim chaplains. So I was asked to volunteer. So becoming a volunteer inside the correctional facilities also gave me knowledge about how things go on the inside, you know. And so since '98 up until present, I've been going into the correctional facilities on the DOC side, now in Anne Arundel County. And so we took the program behind the walls and we started working with the inmates on pretrial, DOC, and then eventually we started going into the federal correctional facilities. So religious services I would do, but also I would do reentry, working with the entire population. And so we helped a lot of men and women coming out of prison to transition into the society and to help them to, you know, really acclimate. Let's go to the next slide.
Excuse me, I think we lost the sound. Excuse me, sorry to interrupt. We don't have any sound.
Linda, I put it in chat with many and many a typo. Could I get somebody to put it in correctly?
All right, can you all hear us now?
Yes, and thank you.
All right, okay. So success stories. All right. We have thousands of success stories from just doing the early intervention to individuals coming out of prison. Some of our early interventions, like this young lady here, early intervention, was able to get her on the right track. These are our returning citizens coming out of prison who have graduated from programs and they've gotten their license, pre-apprenticeship in HVAC and CDLs and carpentry, and are doing very well. And we provide them with awards, certificates of completion. Next slide. Okay, we don't have time to look at this one. This is one of our stories from one of our women who was incarcerated in Jessup. Fox 45 did a cover story, and that's about 5 minutes long, but I want to skip that part. All right, so this is my last day with Baltimore Police. 26 years. Chief Jackson, who's now the new chief here, well, he's not new, but he's the chief. He's been here now 4 years. He saw the success of this program in Baltimore. He tapped into me, asked me if I would come, and I said, yeah, sure, I would be glad to come to Annapolis. let's go to the next slide. Okay, so we started what we call the Positive Impact Program reentry here in June of 2020. So that's when I came. I came in March, went through my field training, and then I started the program here. Now the challenge with Annapolis, let's go to the next slide. The challenge with Annapolis is that they're not as industrial as Baltimore. I had all of the resources in Baltimore. And Annapolis has some resources, but there are no vocational training centers here. You know, there's no H&S bakeries, you know, there's no construction companies, there's no subway. All of that we have in Baltimore was really accessible to our population. Here, there's a transportation barrier. There's just a lot of barriers, but I told Chief Jackson that we're going to work through those barriers. And so once I had a chance to meet people here from Annapolis, meet who was some of the potential partners, we started building those relationships. We talked about what we did in Baltimore so that we can transition it here to Annapolis. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so our first cohort, and many people when we first came here was like not really understanding what is reentry, right? So we was explaining to them how this would work, that we would partner with parole and probation, and we would target individuals who were at risk. And we wanted, again, to divert them. We wanted to catch them and get them into programs where they could learn a trade, a marketable skill, where they could make good money, right? Because most of our guys have felony records, right? They can't become police officers, they can't become firefighters, right? But they can still make good money by learning a trade. Not everybody has to go to college. So this is one of our first graduating classes here. And these guys graduated from pre-apprenticeship for CDLs, HVAC, and automotive. We also had culinary. We had drone training. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so this is March 2021 graduating class from NCIA, which is in Baltimore. We actually transport our guys to school. So Bishop Carroll was an Annapolitan here. We hired him. He's my partner. We do transportation. So we actually, like I said, one of the barriers was transportation, get them to the school. So we provide transportation. We transport our guys to and from school. We don't leave them with any excuse. They have case management. We're connected to the employers, so we set them up with interviews. This guy here now works for Anne Arundel County School Board. When we met Dante was unemployed. He doesn't mind me sharing this, right? Dante was unemployed. He had a hard time finding a job. We got him through the certification and pre-apprenticeship. Now he's the maintenance guy through Anne Arundel County. So he goes into the schools and fixes all of the different maintenance stuff that needs to be done. This was another one of our success stories here. He wound up doing commercial HVAC. This is a gentleman who was, you know, an Annapolitan who was one of the regulars, in and out, in and out, in and out. And we was able to connect him to the program, and he wound up getting a job, and he was doing very well for himself. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so yeah, these are all Annapolis graduates. This is one of our ladies from Harbor House. She's doing excellent, doing very well. Most of our participants, most of them, and you know, we do have some that may fall off. Most of our participants, for the most part, is doing very well. He's another one of our graduates, and now he's the head of the boxing at Pitt Lawyer. So this is an evidence-based program. I mean, this program changed lives for those who really want to change. You really got to want it. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, another graduating class. Let's go to the next slide. We graduated 8 classes. Some of our guys now are working in the hospital. This guy, 41 years in prison. Wow. 1 year out. The day he got out, he came into our Positive Impact program. We connected Earl Burke to the University of Maryland. We're partnered with the University of Maryland. He grew up in Robinwood. He went to prison in 81 for murder. First-degree murder. He was given a life sentence. Now, Earl works in the University of Maryland shop Trump after 1 year. He came to our program. This is the real Marlo Stanfield from The Wire. He was part of our reentry program as well. This is another gentleman who just recently was released. He now works at the University of Maryland Hospital. And this is another one of our guys that was released at decades in prison. And we worked with them before they actually got out, with the exception of this gentleman here. We got him the first day he was released. Let's go to the next slide. So these are our resources, right? And we have more. We have more resources. Because of time, there's so much more I wish I could share with you, but hopefully we can do this again. But I always do this. I always bring a guest speaker because it's one thing for me to tell you about it, but I would like to bring up someone, childhood friend. And he spent 35 years, 33 years, 30 years, and we grew up together. When I talk about, what I mentioned earlier, this is one of my friends that I grew up with. And the whole time that he was incarcerated, I would send him messages. I would send him messages to my friends and say, tell him that when he comes home, I got him. I said, you tell him that. And for the 30 years that he was incarcerated, my friends were telling me, he's home. And so I want to bring up David.
Thank you. Yeah, look, how y'all doing today? Good morning. As Rob said, Officer Cohen said, my name is Daniel Williams. I'm from Baltimore City. I am a returning citizen. I was gone for 33 years. First offender, nonviolent first offender sentence on a drug conspiracy, and I was sentenced to 50 years. Unfortunately, like I said, I did 30 of those 50. With the help of the late Elijah Cummings, looking out for me, working towards my case, understanding that I had been sentenced unjustly. He got involved and people started listening. I was in the penitentiary for 18 of those 30 years. I'm just short. When you come into the system, you are rated based on, criminal history and the amount of time you had. Because I had so much time, even though I didn't have any criminal history points, I was sentenced to Lewisburg Penitentiary. While I was in Lewisburg Penitentiary, I got in trouble immediately. I went in Lewisburg Penitentiary with that 50 years thinking that I can't do it. I wasn't trying to do it. So I was constantly putting myself in a situation where I could get killed. Plain and simple, I wasn't looking to do this 50 years. I was putting myself in a situation where someone could kill me, but I was scared to get hurt. So I said, I don't want to put myself in the worst situation where people or groups would just slaughter me, get it over quick. It sounds crazy, but that's the mind frame. I couldn't foresee 30 years. I couldn't foresee 20 years. And I definitely couldn't see 50. Fortunately, for the way that God works, people know when you're trying to die. No matter what you heard, it's just simple as that. When you're on a death mission, people can feel it. People can see it. People can sense it. And they don't want to help. They don't want to get involved. It sounds crazy because you feel like, well, you're in the penitentiary, you're in prison with all these people, all these times, life, and hundreds of years, that they will be the first ones to do it. But you're totally wrong. They do not want to do it. People don't want to just kill people. And so they made me do it the hard way. They made me do the bit. So-called, that's what we call it, doing the bit all the time. They made me do it. So I ended up doing 18 of those years inside the penitentiary until, like I said, the late Elijah Cummings got involved and got in contact with the head of BOP, and he asked him, why is this individual with no criminal history, with camp points, what is he doing inside of a penitentiary? Made me understand. And he told my family, he said, you tell Naaman they're going to offer him transfers. Do not take it. They're gonna tell him to sign these waivers. Do not sign. He said, I want them to report back to me because I want to know why are you there? And I want to know why is the policy that they have in place not allowing you to be at the proper security level. Long story short, they got me out. But I did it the way I was told. And then later on, through policies that Obama put into place, he said that all individuals with drug cases can get a 2-point reduction. With the 2-point reduction, I was on, like I said, my first offender. I was on level 42, which is 30 years of life. They sentenced me to 50 years. With the 2-point reduction, I was supposed to get 30 years, which would have been the max. On 30 years, you do 26 years. I had 26 years in. I was supposed to be released. The courts in Baltimore City denied it. They said, we're not going to give you 30 years because of me released, and you're not ready for society. The law said that I was supposed to get out. So I had to fight another 5 years in order for another court in Greenville, Maryland, to say, we don't understand why you're still here. I'm letting you go. And that's how I ended up getting out. Bring it up to speed. Since I've been out, like Officer Horn said, even before I got out, Officer Horn has always been in contact. He's always made sure that I knew that there was going to be assistance for me. This is not nothing that, we talking about from school, hospital. So he knew me. He didn't know the character. The character evolved when he was gone. Because there's a name, and then there's a name of the character. Just like he spoke about with Marlo from The Wire, there was a character in The Wire named Name, who was based off of me. And his situation was the exact same situation as mine. And if you go back and think about what happened in The Wire, you see how the individual was mentored by an officer. The individual was taken out to the county to live because they seen the potential. They seen the potential. And I just found out today when you talked about Commissioner Ham. Commissioner Ham he was my mentor and didn't know it. His daughter was my girlfriend. And I didn't know that he helped spearhead this program, but his daughter was my girlfriend. So the whole character, the whole situation that they talked about in The Wire, it parallels my life. Since I've been out, I've been doing a lot of community work. Whether it's giving out food, in the community I helped tear down, which was Park Heights. I go down there and give out food when they have the food drives. I talk to people. I try to make people understand that, what I did then, I'm not trying to glamorize because it was nothing but pain inside. People have no idea the level of pain that I went through in prison. People have no idea the level of pain that I took my family to. They have no idea the level of pain that my daughter, and I have one daughter, and the lady that I was with at the time, she was pregnant when I came in. So my daughter never got the opportunity to have attachment with me like most people have. Although she came to time to time, there was no times where we was able to create that trust factor. Like when kids slip and you grab them, or when they sleep at night and they sleep on your chest. And they begin to get that bond that just talking can't get. It's a sense of real trust. So even to this day, I struggle with that with my daughter because she don't have that trust. Although she don't understand that what she's missing, but I'm able to give it to her kids.
We're gonna continue this at another meeting. So we're 5 minutes over. I'm just gonna come from the point short. Give us a conclusion.
What I'm doing right now.
This is fascinating.
Bring it all up to speed. What I'm doing right now. I work right down the street here at the Community Access Center. through the help of Officer Horn and a few other people, I was able to secure me a great job. What I do right now, I help individuals with re-entry. I help individuals find work. I help individuals, navigate their way through the coming out process, right? Because that's what it's about. If you don't have that support system, if you don't have that wraparound service where you can get your family in, not just you, but your family, and make things where it's all right for them as well as you, then you subsequently go back to the old thing. I want to thank y'all for just giving me this platform.
Yeah.
Put my story out.
Last one before, I got the, get some more of these. I see the phone numbers all right in here. If we get some more of these.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Yeah, well, just last words, anybody that you know that needs help, and like I tell people all the time, Annapolis Police Department is probably the only department in the state of Maryland where you can come and not only turn yourself in forewarned, but you can get a job. We'll help you with a vocational training program. Look, just real quick, last Tuesday, we registered 26 individuals at the Anne Arundel County Community College trade program. This is our first cohort for the community college. We're in partnership with Josh Hatch and Vanessa Bright, Brown Re-Entry. So we just sent 26 individuals to Anne Arundel County Community College, all returning citizens, right? And they're going to be taking the different trade programs for electrical and plumbing and heating. There's so many resources that's available, And you know what this does? This restores trust with the community and the police. I'm an officer. I'm a cop. 29 years altogether, law enforcement. 26 in Baltimore and 3 here in Annapolis, and that whole time has been committed to the community. So, we can't defund the police because we need to invest in programs.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and I hope we can do it again, because I had a lot more I wanted to share.
Okay.
And I want to bring some of my Annapolis guys from Robinwood and Harbor House and all of these different communities to talk about what they're doing with their lives now. And
I can just call you at this number and we try to reschedule in the future.
Anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Wonderful. Thank you very much for hearing Officer Horn. I'm gonna cut my report short here so we can proceed because there's something I want to do at the end. Thank you again, Officer Horn, for giving us that fine report, the information. I just came from the National University speaking in Boston, Massachusetts. So Officer Horn to bring this up next year. This should be like a program that should be nationwide because I can't speak for everybody else, but I'm pretty certain all of us have family members, friends, or children who have some interaction with criminal businesses. I know I have. This is not a program that we need. So thank you very much, Officer Horn. So, at this point, our brothers and sisters, we'll go to the reports of officers. So the president of the show our report, because there's something I want to do at the end. So let me just share some crucial information with you. Everybody knows about the 60th commemoration of the 1963 March on Washington in Annapolis, Maryland, on August the 26th and the 27th. All the funds have been secured for the commemoration march. Are targeted for the march on the 26th. So I'm going to be there. I know a lot of people, the NAACP will be there. We're going to be parked at the Dating Stadium, and we're going to begin the march. And the attire that you wear is either the t-shirts, the commemoration t-shirts that have been put out there, or you can wear garments similar to what they wore at the 1963 March on Washington. So those are the two options you have. They ask everybody to dress like they dressed in 1963, or the shirt that the commemoration shirt that we sold. All right, that's the first thing I want to share with you. The next thing is, everybody knows about Superintendent Dr. Arundel. Anyway, there's a nationwide podcast that goes around and interviews superintendents from all these various school systems. And the superintendent has to tell them who he wants to speak. So Dr. Arundel actually put our share about his transition here to Anne Arundel County. And as soon as I get a copy of the podcast, I'm going to bring it to the university while they show records and you get a chance to look at it. But basically, I talked to him about his excellent insight on the inequity problems here in Anne Arundel County very responsive to the NAACP and my meetings with him, as well as to other social organizations. So I just want to share that with everybody. July the 26th to August the 1st was the NAACP annual convention in Boston, Massachusetts. I had a chance to go. This was my first time attending. Myself and Scott Bailey were there, as well as President Emeritus also. And I want to share with you a few resolutions. At these NAACP annual conventions, the principal thing that we do is the plenary session of resolutions. Resolutions are the policy positions of the NAACP that is disseminated to all 2,200 branches. So we meet with government officials here to make sure they understand what we say. And these are the resolutions. We started around 9 in the morning, then into about 8 at night. And we were there, I was there, Scott was there, as well as President Emeritus also. And it was a lengthy process, but what they were talking about was absolutely critical for our branches. Some of the things, I'm not sure all of us, some of the things were about the reaffirmation of gun control, banning assault weapons, demand that the Department of Justice that stands in canine police practices to use search and bark instead of search and bite. Some of y'all don't see that. Those of you who seen that video where this man down his hand and the dog attacking and bit it. And so we're trying to get these government officials to realize this is unwise. That's how we get sued. It's not good for community police relations. If the dog finds it, we gotta bite him. Just if you bark, everybody know what he is. And so we kind of push. That's one of our resolutions. Another thing too, we're trying to implement a plan of action to address the internal police culture and intentional and implicit bias against Black officers. Another part of my report here is I'm meeting with the chief of police for Anne Arundel County, Chief O'Wire, and I brought this up because this is very important to the and I talked to her about, we'll have to get the data on all of the Black police officers who filed complaints about discrimination from the police department, as well as how they were resolved. This is what the NAACP talking about. All these players, all of them don't know what's going on. And I'm pleased to announce that Chief O'Wire agreed to file that data. I had an excellent meeting with her. I'm going to share a little bit about that very short. Also, we're advocating for federal, state, and local school board to oppose censorship legislation that covers censorship, don't want to talk about American history, and we treated Black folk. They're trying to put that out. And so we're opposing that in our communication with all school officials and other officials. We have some space on that, which does not allow censorship. This is American history, the way Black folk were treated, and coming up. It's almost as if you're trying to give people an excuse for continuing in that type of behavior because they're ignorant. And so we're trying to oppose that. So those are some of the resolutions. I have 3 copies of my report. If you don't have it, I only got 3 copies of the legal fee after the meeting. You want to get it because it's a pretty thorough report. Just say this right quick and make you all smile for maybe some serious stuff. But it's my first time at the meeting, so we're in this big hall. And so I'm sitting there, and so we go into resolution by 83 pages of resolutions. So as we going through, people get up, they can ask for amendments, they can discuss things and things like that. I don't know resolution 4 or 5. It's like they got a long discussion, like an hour long. We got 83 pages to go. So I think I said, no, this is the time to be with the restroom. So they just, I knew I was gonna vote, but they discussed it so long. So I get up to go to the restroom, and the senior lady stopped me. She said, "Where you going? We got to vote." I said, "Sister," I said, "I'm trying to go to the restroom." She said, "Well, hurry up then." And so, when you go to the traditional Baptist church, seniors treat everybody like their children. So I knew it was just love, but it was kind of surprising the seriousness with which these people took the work in the resolution of the NAACP was really refreshing. I don't find many people with the uncompromising intensity I have over this righteous, just, and fair. And I met my match with that. All of them were fired. So my wife told me, had I not hurried up, she would come back in and check on me. So I went, I got back everybody, but it was very refreshing to see the seriousness and intensity in which they are striving to make America more perfect. That blessed my soul. It was very good. It was a wonderful experience and look forward to next year. My luncheon with Chief O'Wire. Chief O'Wire has a program in place called Neighborhood Knock and Talk. Now, the NAACP has been pushing community policing for a long time. So she's instituted neighborhood knock and talk, where they go into the neighborhood, knock on people's door, and go in their house, get the allowed in, and talk about crime and how we can help protect everybody. And she said, Reverend Joe, this is going into the second year. She said, well, a lot of times people don't know because they're too quick to criticize me. She said, well, we've been doing this, this is a program I initiated. And so she was telling me about she went in people's house and going in, said, people stunned. You didn't see me really? You didn't see me. I bet she, and I come and talk to her, and they come in and she sit on their couch and they talking like bosom buddies. And so she said that this has had an impact because now the community don't feel like they need to be suspicious of police when they show up in the community. And now it's probably going on 2 years, so they kind of get used to seeing them around now. So it's to improve police community relations. So she said that when I poured over that, the fund of a number of jobs in terms of programs she has in place. Also, she agreed to call me whenever something happens in our community with the police and somebody is killed or maimed or something along those lines. She said, Reverend Jones, she said, Reverend Jones, you know, legal violence. I said, but what I want you to do, Chief, is I want you to notify me. I said, because I don't have to tell you, when things happen to black people, they call Jesus and the NAACP, so we're going to find out. There's a matter of time when we find out. I said, so, Chief, why don't you just get in contact? As soon as you get them, maybe I can look at the executive board and know what's going on. And I don't feel like there's a lack of transparency. And it restricted our relationship. She said, Reverend Jones, she was kind of hesitant because she'd been criticized so much. Reverend Jones, I'm kissing her. I said, Chief, I love you. I want you to be successful. I said, I don't care what anybody else said. That's why the NAACP branches come this president. We here with the Chief. Chief was in tears. I'm like, could you understand Reverend Jones is sincere? I'm like, no. I want to make sure you're successful. She said, Reverend Jones, I'll make sure I keep in contact. That's the work of NAACP and our officers have a good relationship with the government officials. I know sometimes we have to protest. I know sometimes we have to fight against it, but not all the time, all the time. We have to do it always. And so we have a beautiful relationship. I was going to be with about 45 minutes. We ended up being like almost 2 hours. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I want everybody to know NAACP, whenever anything comes up concerning the police, instead of getting in the media and criticizing you, let Reverend Jones know because I got a rapport with her. And we can talk and I can come back with you and let you know what's going on. Okay. So I want to share that. Finally, we have 3 new executive board members, brothers and sisters. Reverend Cornell Jenkins, Reverend Jenkins, sister. Let me introduce themselves to the committee over Sister Shay Cook, who's on the line, and Sister Renisha Alfonso, who's also on the line. So what I want to do, I want to go in that order. And I'm assuming that Sister Cook and Sister Alfonso can hear me. I'm going to go in this order. Reverend Jenkins explain to you what committee is over and what his ideas are. You got 1 minute, brother.
Yeah, just stand up and go in front of Reverend Jones. See you.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
My name is Reverend Cornell Jenkins. I'm over the Labor Industry Committee. I've been in human resources for 26 years, and one of my goals is to build relationships between the NAACP and the labor unions in Anne Arundel County and move forward.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Excellent. As long as I get all the here at the county, we really never had anybody in the labor industry lead that committee. So thank you very much, Reverend Jenkins, for taking on this role. We appreciate it, brother. Okay, this one here is Sister Shay Cook. Is she on, Mr. Down?
Yes.
Okay, Shay Cook, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Do you tell everybody what committee you're over?
She was on earlier.
Okay, let's move on to Sister Alfonso. Are you there, Sister Alfonso? Introduce yourself. Tell us what committee you're over.
I can hear you, Rob. Hi. Good morning, Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person today. Just returning from a conference. I'm the Director of Communications at County Executive Sir Pittman's office. I've been in PR and communications for over 10 years now. Really excited about getting involved with the NAACP branch and being able to support the Press and Publications Committee.
That's all, Sister Alfonso?
Yeah, that's it. You do have a hand raised, Reverend Jones?
Okay, just a minute first. Assistant Pastor, did you complete your thought there?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Yeah, did you complete your thought? That's all you want to share?
About the work itself?
Yeah, just about your background and the community that you're.
I can't hear you that well, I'm sorry.
Okay, is that all you want to share about your background and the community that you're over?
No.
Is that all you want to share?
Do you have anything else to share, Renisha?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, that was it. That's all I wanted to share.
Okay, thank you, dear. I appreciate it. And Ms. Jacob, did she come on yet?
No, she was on earlier, but she has signed out.
I see, okay. All right, we see one, Sister Reverend Morris, you got a quick question as we proceed?
I have some comments, but I don't know when it's a proper time in reference to your report, because I can't really hear. So is this a proper time to ask questions about your report or interactions with Chief Awad, or do we need to let that wait till later in the meeting?
We'll wait till we go back unfinished business at the end, if you don't mind. I appreciate that. Okay, let's proceed now with the first vice president's report. Is Mr. Wiley on, Mr. Downey?
He is not on.
I said, okay, what we go to your report to the second vice president, Mr. Downey?
All right, cool. Sorry. Real quick, everyone, I do not have a written report, but I do have a verbal report. Two quick items. Next Saturday, I will be participating in a backpack giveaway in Brooklyn Park at Park Elementary School. I will be representing the NAACP, in which we will have a voter registration table. I know today that Brother Ralph Thomas, he is down in Severn at Van Bachlen Middle School, elementary school, doing a backpack giveaway where he's doing also voter registration as well. Real quick, I'll just dive into a Freedom Fund report. So our Freedom Fund committee, we have been meeting on every other week. At this point in time, we do have a save the date flyer available. Just need to distribute that. Thank you, Reverend Morris, for putting that flyer together. In regards to looking at potential guest speakers, we did hear back from Reverend Martin Luther King III, but his asking price was out of our budget. His asking price was $50K. So I think we are moving in another direction. And that other direction is, I know Reverend Jones has established communication with Governor Moore's office as a potential guest speaker. Also, I know as a committee member, Freedom Fund committee member, Reverend Morris, we're also considering Congresswoman Maxine Waters. So we're kind of reaching out to get responses from them. Also, we got a recommendation from Sky in regards to reaching out to actress Erica Alexander, excuse me. So we're just going to explore all avenues as far as identifying a keynote speaker. Again, our Freedom Fund banquet will be held on Friday, November 17th, 2023 at the Doubletree Annapolis Doubletree Hotel. Probably in the next couple meetings, our committee, we're going to be focusing on getting the word out, and then also identifying awardees that will be celebrated during that event. So more details to come, and we'll keep everyone posted. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Downing. We're going to go now to the Treasury report. The Treasurer, Ralph Thomas, is at a voting drive today. And so when he returns next month, he can give you some details on what our beginning of the month balance is, what our deposits were, what our disbursements were, and what our end of the month balance is. And I'll go ahead and give you those numbers, but any details about it, we'll wait till the treasurer comes back to answer your questions in that regard. Concerning the beginning of the month balance, it was $23,793.70. The deposits were $2,433.82. The disbursements were $3,899.56. Keep in mind, we did at the convention. And the end of the month balance was $22,327.96. And so if you don't mind, holding any question about details of that, treasury returns next month. So the secretary and the assistant secretary are scheduled that because those are at present, and also the moving council is president. So what I'm going to move to is I'm going to move to AXO, but I don't believe Sister Malik Brown is on. She's been on the weather. She's not on today.
No, she's not on today.
Thank you, Mr. Downey. Armed Services and Veterans Affairs, I believe Reverend Tillett is on vacation. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
He let us know that in writing. Also, when the committee chairs are not going to be present to give a report, please let Reverend Jones know. In addition to Brother Donovan, I want to know because I look forward to getting reports to read them all. If I have no report, I'll hear from you at all. Then it seems like you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So we don't want to be in that position. Next, on the climate justice, I think that.
So, Dr. Garrett, she is not here, but she did submit a report.
I saw her. So she did submit a report. That was climate justice. Community coordination is Scott Bella. She's always here, right there. Looking like she just came from Africa. Share community coordination as always.
Scott, you want to go to the front? I'm gonna share your report.
So if I'm over here, this is good, and everybody sees me, you don't really have to. All right. Hello, family. All right, so I know we're pressed for time, but I'm gonna try to hurry up because I know there's a lot of stuff in my report. Just a couple of items in here before I get started on the convention report. I was just really concerned about the Juneteenth parade, just seeing all those little kids twerking. And they weren't just twerking, but they were just humping the ground, and I can't get it out of my head. So I don't know if this is the time or place, but if anybody else was concerned about that, just reach out to me and so we can talk about it. And if not, then I guess I'll just kind of let it go. But I just feel like that is just, I don't feel like it's appropriate for little kids to be doing that. If you're grown, do what you want for little kids, especially for Juneteenth, something where you take the pride. I'm just so proud to be Black. I'm proud to be a part of this organization. I was embarrassed to see it. I was reporting. I had to stand away from that. So I'm going to move on. Very. Then the follow up on my last month's report with the flatbed, I reached out to them, and when I say flatbed, I had a picture of the flatbed on there. I just want something for next year. So instead of us just walking, I know some of our members are challenged with that long walk sometimes. So maybe we had a flatbed, so we can have maybe a huge awning or just something so we can all on there. So I reached out to Bishop Coates to find out where he got the flatbed. I have that information and the sponsorship form if we decide to proceed with that for next year. Now, moving on to the convention. First of all, thank you all for letting me represent this organization as delegate. So now Reverend Jones knows why I get so so for let's see, just real quick, I'm trying to find there's a lot in it, so we actually just pull out just the little points in here. Okay, so Jan informed one of the things, there were a lot of things to get excited about. Boston is really excited about their history there, so I want our history to be known in the community. So I reached out while I was there to Jan at the Banneker Douglas Museum to find out if there's information on our branch in the museum. It is not. She said they don't have a curator right now, they have a guest curator. However, they have a civil rights exhibit that's coming up, so we have information that we want to share with her. Just let her know and pass it on. So if you have anything, please let me know. Not at the next meeting, because the next meeting will not be here. We have the Office of Emergency Management. So bring it in October so that we can all meet on that. Jackie also let me know that she said boxes over Reverend Select. He has stuff. I'm going to meet with next week and see what we have. Okay, moving on to the next thing. All right. I think another great idea would also be to have a branch open house. I don't know who can make that happen, but I would love that. So, for example, my church did like a thing where you came in and then the head of the committee, you can talk to them, you have a sign up sheets. I would love to do something like that. all the chairs come in, and if that is not possible, maybe we can do a virtual open house. I just have something so we can just I really want to focus on the community, not just knowing about the NAACP, knowing who we are, what we do. I'm thankful for the newsletter, so just on a mission for that. So it's like they said, vision, fired up, ready, so let's try that. Fired up.
Ready to go.
Okay. I was also a part of a focus group while I was there. A lot of good information on there. I don't know if that passed. Oh, there we go, focus group. Okay, a lot of great information. I found out about the National Association of Black Military Women. I am proud to say that I'm a Black military veteran also. Let's see, one of the persons wanted to welcome hub. Oh, so much to say. I'm still see. Oh, yes, I am so excited about this part. Okay, so I did take time to step away from the long resolution thing to find out, because I was determined while I was there to find out about the t-shirts. You know, the whole design, you know, they said it has to be approved. So I found out who they are using. They gave me information. I reached out. I went through all of their inventory, the online, all the shirts, found the exact design. The one that I wanted. I reached out to them. I showed the design that I wanted. They said they can do it. The only thing that was a problem was they had to change the NAACP. The only thing that I could notice was different was the little trademark symbol on there for NAACP. So it's very important to have that on there. They are mailing me the sample right now. Hopefully I will have it in the early part of next week. It looks just like that. We've already voted, so this should not be a long, drawn out process, because it's going to be exactly the same. I was like, yeah.
And Mama will get upset with her.
I know.
Okay, go to the restroom.
I was not leaving Boston, so I had that information. I did so many other things, but this is the revision that was in there.
Such a lot of recognition.
Reverend Morris's wonderful event was last Saturday. We had a great time. I was one of the celebrity servers there. Lindsay Davis was there as well. So we had a great time. Yes, one of the servers. So I just wanted to throw that in there. So if you get a chance, please go to the home report. There's a lot of stuff in there. So love you all. That's it. Thanks.
Always magnificent job. We're gonna go on to act coordination. So Linda Davis, I saw her earlier. She's still on?
Yeah, she's still there.
I'm here. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. And thank you, Sky, the great report. And I'm going to put most of my stuff in the chat. That's for the upcoming ACT events, and you can see them on the report. ACT has research action teams, and they include mental health, education, gun violence, and housing. And they are there's a meeting on gun violence coming up. There's also still doing their community organizing trainings. There's one coming up on Monday. And then the final thing that everyone is welcome to attend is the countywide action team meeting on September 7th at the UU Church of Annapolis. And that's where we're going to hear from each of the research action teams as to what they've proposed, and then come up with kind of an action plan after that. So if you can attend that event, that would be great. And I just put everything in the chat, so you can click on the links if you can attend one of those meetings. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sister Davis. I read your report, excellent report. Thank you. I appreciate that. We go to criminal justice. As if you have a copy of our report, you see right there, I say paragraphs 4 and 5. That's my criminal justice report. That was about my meeting with the chief. I did share one thing about me with the chief I wanted to share. Chief O'Brien not only has a neighborhood I Can Talk program in place, but she also has another program in place, in which is called Mirror the Chief for a Day, where young people in high school get a chance to go with the chief for an entire day and see her duties and what she has to do. And she shared with me some pictures of a young lady, young African American who was with her, and how they learned about police goals and procedures. And she said that the young lady, there was a 14, when she came at the Mirror the Chief all day, she came and gave a strategic, tactical blueprint about police work. And she said they were all, no, these bottles dropped over because she was so attentive to it. She said that she heard the tea all day long. And so that's another wonderful program she has to make sure we have community policing, community active, being connected to the police officers, which is very important. So that's all I wanted to share about criminal justice. Everything else is what I shared earlier. And juvenile justice, this is not.
She's also at the backpack drive with, yeah.
Gotcha. All right, let's proceed to economic development. That's our new appointee, Ms. Alfonso. I'm not asking you for a report.
Shay Cook. Shay Cook for economic.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. Shay Cook, did Shay Cook come back?
No, she did not. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was new appointee, so we'll go past that for now. Education, Dr. Dodonio.
Yes.
I'm here, but there's no education committee report this month. Thank you for the mentions and follow-up that you are doing on educational issues with Dr. Bedell, Reverend Jones, President Reverend Jones.
Thank you, dear, for your work with the NAACP.
Oh, I did want to bring something. I received a phone call this morning from Thornell Jones, who's unable to be with us, and he's a member of our education committee as well as head of the caucus education committee. He wanted you to know, and he wanted me to say into this meeting that he is completely with you on everything and with your plan with Dr. Bedell. You have his 100% support, and he wanted that spoken into the meeting.
Thank you very much. I'll make sure I express my appreciation to her for that. Okay, now finance, Neva Stansberry, she's also out of town, but Neva Stansberry, Sister Roman and myself had a finance meeting to go through our bank statement line by line. All of the disbursements and all of the income, and to make sure everything's in order, and the bank account statement balance. So everything's in order. I just want to let everybody know that. So she's out of town, but Neva Stansberry is part of this finance committee. Concerning Freedom Fund, Mrs. Downing, you have anything more you want to share them to share? Okay, and then we're gonna go to health system Monroe. Is this Monroe?
No, she is also at the backpack drive, but she also shared her committee report. I think you had asked during our executive committee meeting. Let me just share this real quick. Yes. So we just want to make sure that everyone is aware that there is a new COVID strand out there. So we request everyone to take the necessary precautions. Next month, Ms. Monroe will come back with a more detailed report, but just want to put that out there to make sure that everyone is aware to take the proper precautions.
Okay, the SIP housing, the labor industry, that's our new appointee, Jenkins. Just introduce yourself. Legal redress, that's something that I'm over right now. I can point somebody over legal redress for people getting kind of just be complaining about things that are going on in the community, this kind of stuff. And so far, everybody knows I've asked people to give anybody who calls the WSP a call about officers, about any type of discrimination you're dealing with. I sent out a detailed document on what it is that I need to get from you. And the document we call is entitled "The Steps to Advise People Seeking the WSP Assistance for Discrimination." I have like 6 things that I need people to provide detail about. So what happened, where did it happen, who is involved, who we reported to, those type of things that the WSP needs to know before we get involved. And so it's sometimes the WSP get a bad reputation of people calling us about discriminatory acts or something that happened at the job. And they don't know the name of the phone. They don't have the address of the job, a whole lot of things. And so it seems like we don't do anything that the WSP is kind of failing, and that's not the case. Before we get involved, we need details. Until we get details, then it's easy for us to get involved because we know what's going on. When, where, who did you file a complaint? You file a complaint, what happened to that complaint? Did they get back with you? It hasn't been resolved. That's it. Just bring.
Good morning. Can we get a copy of that? You just said so that it will be in our hands so that we have an info somewhere that we can all have. That would be awesome.
Actually, it's on my report. This is not just our report out, right? It was attached to
Yeah.
my report.
Yeah.
So it's attached to my report. Go online, reports that he sends out to everybody is attached to the report, you'll see all the details. All right, so, let's go on to Member Sisters, the data report, is she?
No, she's not on.
I see, okay. All right, political action, I know Mr. White is not here. President Publication, that's Sister Alfonso, the new appointee, so they don't have a report today. Prison Breast, Sister Lynn Green is here today. Thank you, Jesus. Come on, Sister Green. Give us your verbal report.
Well, I got my reports. I was cheap this morning because this is the gun intervention. I was praying how to get this guy. This is my buddy.
Yeah.
This is what the public needs to hear about. With Chief Horn, that's the perfect report. I couldn't have made it better myself. So I'm gonna piggyback on that report.
You can't beat that. You can't beat that. Listen, when you do this, you can't beat that.
So
Yeah.
that's what I would pray for and happen. I knew who was in charge.
Thank you for your sharing. That's a truth. We appreciate that. Okay, now let's go on now to we're gonna go down to there's no prison branch, public relations, religious affairs, youth advisor, women report. So what I want to do now is, because I got something, you remember I said to everybody at the last general meeting, and I want us to discuss this reparations. And so what I want to do before we get into the substance of reparations, because I'm gonna have to give out I'm going to put something out as a president of the NAACP. Before we get to that, I want to use the end of the meeting to share with y'all the basis for reparations. See, a lot of times we debate reparations, but we don't know the history going back to 1863 about why we even talk about reparations. So what I want to do at the end of the meeting, at the end of the meeting, I want to just share this information with you from this scholarly work, from this economic professor at Duke University. This brother did a magnificent job of research on. Let's show you a part of that. And then that's going to be the end of the meeting. But at this point, we have unfinished business, correct? And I believe Brother Morris had a hand up earlier about our report. So we'll give her a minute or two to address what it is she wants to share. Brother Morris, you go ahead and share whatever it is you want to say or questions you have about Reverend Jones' report.
Yes, I do wish that I could hear you better because you're so muffled. It's been extremely frustrating hearing people in the meeting. I wanted to circle back because I know that your meeting speaks very highly of Chief Awad. And I wanted to say just first FYI, when we found that the reports and the statements about the groups and organizations with kids that they work with are usually at the kids that are not from impacted communities. So I would say as an NAACP, maybe find out where these wonderful reports are coming from, because children from different communities, and we discussed this before, I believe it came up in the past, from different communities have a different viewpoint of police. And then these organizations that they have, that they're getting these wonderful reviews again, are from a different population than those that are impacted. I also wanted to ask, how does the NAACP, other organizations still have concerns? It's good that she has the programs, again, but I know that sometimes these things are manipulative and they look good on paper, but it's not actually what's happening in the community. And for instance, the last meeting she had with us, when she went to give her speech on the 3, whatever she usually gives, whenever she has these meetings, and then we mentioned impacted communities, that's when her anger flared and she shut the feed and refuses to meet with our organization. Because impacted persons walking the street, those that are facing these police issues historically in Anne Arundel County that she inherited, she didn't do it. There's a whole different perspective. So I guess my stand is this, and my question would be, where does the NAACP stand on these things? Because right now we have Chief Awad, who is refusing to meet with organizations, does not come into the call arena. She won't come into that arena. She won't meet with organizations like CAS. She right now is refusing, and I think perhaps I'm about to do a press release right now if anybody wants to run and tell her, because I think that her and Pittman ought to be looked at as being obstruction of justice issues in reference to my daughter's case for the refusal to list that case as unsolved, when the chief of police in Annapolis has said that he would have no problem, would not hesitate, and has agreed to, has asked to meet with me further, has asked to meet with me further to discuss my daughter's case. So again, these are the issues that we have as a county, and we need the NAACP and you as a leader to not just see the rosy parts. We like to hear your feedback about these other concerns. She is a hired employee. She does answer to Pittman, and a lot of us, we're not seeing these pleasantries. You know, we see them on the surface, but I don't want to be rude. I guess as I hush up and give you a chance to respond, we know that these are the good things in the corner, but the overall problematic things with this chief that we've never seen with any other, and I mean, she's stoned. She's not coming into a lot of our meetings, and I think some of our colleagues would agree. She will not. Where do you stand with starting to hold her accountable for this behavior? That's not the pleasantries necessarily that you're seeing. She's going to be on her P's and Q's with you because she knows the power you represent. She knows the organization. But what about the reality? Where do you stand with that, sir?
Okay. I'm not going to address this too long, more concerning your daughter. I have nothing further to say about that. I already addressed that with you before. So nothing to say about that. Number two, as far as any other in other communities, if it's brought to my attention that she's having an issue in a particular community by a community leader or something along those lines, then we can give it some attention. But based on my communication with her, based on my interaction with her, based on the invite she's given me to go with this neighborhood walk and talk with her, as of right now, I have nothing negative to say about what Chief O'Brien has shared with me and what I know of. If there's some serious complaints about Chief O'Brien, I encourage you to reduce it to writing. Make sure the county executive has it and bring it to me in writing substantively and back up the data, and I will see what it is that I can do in terms of my relationship with her, my communication, where she's open to Reverend Jones to talk to her about anything, and I will not jeopardize that for anyone. But I will take anything that is documented about her failing to do a job somewhere, and I will talk to her about that. And so basically, that's all I have to share on that regard.
Okay,
so
I have to push back a little bit, sir. We just had a meeting, and your organization is our organization is represented at meeting. It was the Maryland Justice Coalition for Police Accountability, which is about 70 organizations strong. And in that meeting, there did happen to be someone that came in speaking as you speak, and it was they got a hard road, because if you don't listen to the impacted people, you're going to miss the point. With all due respect, and anything out of my mouth, I can back it up in black and white. So you have and it's important that I'm not understanding why this is hard for you as our leader to get this. You're saying, Reverend Morris, this police chief is speaking against a 58-page report, 10 years of struggle, 10 years of struggle. Anytime you want to look at that report, you can. This is a judge's issue, 58-page judge's opinion that said the Anne Arundel County Police and the medical examiner, even in my case, screwed up. And you're saying that you don't take issue with that. You don't take issue with her refusing to list Catherine Moore's case as unsolved. And with a mountain of conflicts of interest, I would be happy to sit down and meet with you for you to look at that evidence. I know you're a man that talks about documentation. We have the documentation. Do you think that judge just issued that report and changed that death certificate because she felt like it? She reviewed the information. She found it factual, and the judge brought more facts. So I know it's not, this is the kind of climate we're in. And so I know we're coming to the end, but don't ask a woman that has buried her child. I think I deserve, and I would love, the NAACP has walked with me for so many years. You're the only one that's standing back and won't, because I do not understand why in the death of my daughter, just like anybody else's, we would not be pursuing the truth or getting more facts from the public. We did not ask them to reopen it. They asked to the county executive, and you are an attorney, was give me the law that says this case cannot be listed as unsolved. And they have refused. They have not even responded in 60 days, sir. And you're an attorney. I wish you would. Your voice is so strong. It was so strong before you got into this position. But now it's silent in the difficult spaces. Your voice could bring answers or somebody to check themselves on why you're refusing after 10 years to list this one child's case as unsolved. Doesn't hurt anybody. Why aren't they doing that? So I'm saying that, I mean, we need you. We need your leadership. We need your leadership to be strong like your voice was before you took office. Thank you very much, and I'm finished. I'm sorry to hold everybody up.
What we want to do, I'll let share with her also. I met with her, discussed that very thing about her daughter, and the chief has shared her position about it, and that's all she has to say about it. And so, if this is what he that's it. I don't have anything else to share about that. What I want to do now, everyone, I want to give you some this preparation. I got some good information from this book. If you get a chance to get this book, from here to equality, and excellent scholarly work by this brother concerning the basis for reparations and why reparations are so current and critical. And so what I want to share with everybody, just for your information, just some information about the basis of request for reparations. I'm sorry, I saw that hand.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, the author of the book is William. I'm passing on. I'm gonna give you a book to look at. William Darity, Darity Jr. and A. Christian Muller. And magnificent scholarly work. Magnificent. Cool. You just take a picture of the phone and so you get the book. Just part of it. I'm bringing it. It's just the detail of the history is so perfect. And so make sure you get that because we started talking about reparations quite a bit now. And you really want to read that if you get a chance beforehand because it will give you the foundation. I want to read some of this information to you all. I find it to be so fascinating and so powerful. So this is the reason why we're going to talk about reparations, but I want to talk about it today in terms of recommendations to me about how I should put out a statement. I just want to hear these details about the history, how Black people have gotten to what we are in terms of being at the bottom of society. So that's what you want to hear. Okay? And of course, if necessary, I will have this down in the city out there, everybody so you have the information. But the book is where I got the information from, so you want to get the book. But just listen to this for a minute, everybody. Black American descendants of U.S. slavery have had to bear the burden of three phases of American racial injustice. Number one, slavery. Number two, American apartheid, or what we call Jim Crow. And number three, the combined effects of present-day discrimination and the deprecation of Black lives. Just all this children, Black folk, things that say, oh, these just like our lives that make you not bad. Number two, federal practices both action and inaction built a racial wealth gap in the U.S. Listen to this. This took the form of asset building and asset destroying policies that reduce the chasm in wealth between Black and white Americans. The four phases are that created this wealth gap are the wagon trail period, which refers to federal asset building via land allocation under the Homestead Act of 1862. Simultaneously, Black Americans were forsaken by the country by not receiving the promised 40 acres and a mule, while white Americans received land grants 4 times as large as Western territories. So that's what you call the wagon train period. This is the blue lust period. This is the way they break it down. It refers to the nearly 100 massacres of white terrorists that took place nationwide from the end of the Civil War to World War II, during which Black lives were taken and Black-owned property was seized by white mobsters. The picket fence period, number 3, refers to the 20th century shift from federal asset building via land distribution to promotion of home ownership, executed in a highly discriminatory manner, building white wealth at the expense of Black wealth development. So when it began to distribute property in most white folk, then it began to encourage home ownership and building them. But the Black folk were left on the side where all this prosperity and stuff was going on. The freeway period refers to the federally funded construction of the interstate system during the 1950s and 1960s, when the highways systematically were run through Black neighborhoods in Tennessee, Louisiana, Alabama, Missouri, North Carolina, Minnesota, Georgia, South Carolina, California, New Jersey, and Wisconsin. So they're building a highway system that we have as infrastructure and ran it right through Black neighborhoods. So the difference is this: the choice of location for a distant highway led to the destruction of black businesses, black business districts, and stable black communities. We started to get a little something, and it just ran the highway.
Every state. That's right.
Number 4, in 1915, the National Ex-Slave Mutual Relief, Bounty, and Pension Association filed a lawsuit on behalf of ex-slaves. Listen, it's 1915. It is said that the U.S. Treasury Department owed the freedmen $68 million. Guess where they got that number from? Based on the money they collected from the sale of slave-grown and slave-harvested cotton. Slave-harvested cotton that had been confiscated from the Confederates toward the end and immediately after the Civil War. So they said all this cotton, that slave labor and slave harvesting, all this thing amounted to $68 million. So we come to court and say, black folks are just dying out here. At least they get some of the money that their labor produced. That's the National Ex-Slave Mutual Relief Bounty and Pension Association, NRBP. And the claim was denied. Number 5, at every turn, black people have been blocked from accumulating any of the wealth that labor produced, wealth that repeatedly was placed in the hands of white Americans and passed down to their descendants to this day. But the wealth gap is so wide, and we can't see them closing because all this land they were given, all the wealth that all they produced, was given to white folk, and they passed it on to the descendants, so it's still in place. So now we have a problem reducing the wealth gap. Everything is to give it to their children and grandchildren.
Legacy.
Today, in study after study, now we're talking about that's the past, that's the basis of what we have for reparations. But I want you to know what's going on today. In every study after study, the black poverty rate is attributable to 2 factors. Black are twice as likely to be unemployed as whites, and blacks with jobs seem to receive lower earnings than whites. Listen to this. Investigations have shown repeatedly today that black and white men of similar age with similar educational attainment produce callbacks and job offers for white males with felony convictions over black men without any criminal records. So when they sit black and white person out, same education, same age, same credentials, same accomplishment, they got a white folk with a criminal record and didn't have a black person. We're talking about a continuation of the degradation and the suppression of us ever being able to become wealthy in this country, despite the country being based on what we produce. Furthermore, discrimination in the job market intensifies as blacks become more credentialed. So when they get more degrees and they go up there and they compare to somebody else with the same type of education, they say the discrimination intensifies. So they'll give them less money, lower positions, even though they're equally qualified. In sum, America has an economic system that is shot through with discrimination against black people that denies them opportunity to participate fully in this economy. The aim of substantive programs of reparations is to produce a race-fair America instead of an America that is unable to acknowledge and confront persistent racial inequality. Reparations is to produce a race-fair America instead of an America that is unable to acknowledge and confront persistent racial inequality. Let me leave you with this. That's from the book. That's some history. So these actual reparations is nothing focused out of the sky. It's based on a history of suppression of black folk whenever it comes to participating in what we produce in this country. Systemic racism, by definition, leave you with this. Systemic racism is those policies, practices, and procedures that sweep all of society to give advantages to white people and disadvantages to black people. It is so entrenched that the only way to bring about fairness for black folk and white people, just white people, non-black, non-white, the only way to bring about real substantive fairness in the system that we have here, because so entrenched to give advantages to white folk and disadvantages to non-white folk, can bring about some substantive fairness, you gotta trash the system and start a new system with racial equality as a foundation. That's the only way to truly and substantively change, because it is historical and it is entrenched as these facts show. So with that information, brothers and sisters, next meeting, next general meeting, I want to hear from everybody about, not about why this is reparated. I think what I just shared is enough to eliminate that question. But how we want to do it. What should be our recommendations? What should be my article that I submit to the Gazette? What should be my article that I bring to the legislature? So we're gonna be working on that next month's meeting. Now that we have this foundation, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a Brother Donald, so you can send it out. But just read through it one more time. Because there's so much more information I can add something. We give it to Brother Donald so you can pass out. So everybody got a chance to go over this. So we come back next month. With this foundation, we can have some meaningful conversation about what is more important in the example of the NAACP for Antelope County about why we should have reparations. Without giving all these details, what the country with the substance. And then how we should go about it. Okay, so that's what I want everybody to think about. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Do we have stats on what the state of Maryland has done as far as holding economically holding Black people back?
Now, I've never seen these statistics like that because it's like the DNA of the country. Right. It's not like something you kind of pull out on something. It's like they won't say anything. They won't hire a Black person with no criminal record, but they have a white person with a felony conviction. But you won't really hear about it. You don't have that criminal record, but you won't really know about it. But I mean, it's like
the land, you know, like what? How did the state of Maryland enforce all the things that you said?
oh yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, when we go to the legislature, right, they're going to drill down and like, we're the state of Maryland. So we want to.
Exactly. So that's where I want you all to get some information so we can come back and talk about it. So if you don't mind, you're gonna research. I want to give you this book because the stuff is so powerful and it's so accurate. And some people say, well, this one thing to me, that's just a figure of Black imagination. Oh, no. There's more than one source that's in. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit more. So that's the more of the book I want to share with everybody. So it's not the government did from the 1863. Everything is good, you probably know that. So that's an indisputable fact for the view. And then when you calculate that now, according to Dr. Garrity, when you calculate that based on what we produced and the land that we were entitled to, it comes out to like $350,000 per African American who entitled themselves to the citizen state. $350,000 per person. And so this is most of the book I'll be sharing. But I encourage you to get the book. You gotta read it. It will sit you down and maybe shake your head and understand why we have this book here. It all makes sense once you go through this. It's like a systematic effort to keep us economically poor and with nothing. It can't be denied. We got the documentation today. I didn't share all the way. I'm just some more with you. Yes, dear.
Okay.
Yes.
No, it's she can talk because they have like and just talk loud.
The Coalition of African American Leaders has just formed a committee.
Yes.
And we could work, they're concentrating on Anne Arundel County for next week, could work in conjunction.
Absolutely. Now, I don't know if they have this information, but I'm certain I'll bring this book to their attention. Mr. Stone, I'm an offset called African American as well. So I'll bring this book to his attention. Matter of fact, I'm going to take a screenshot and send it to him. You've got to get this book to people. This is the first time I've ever seen the historical explanation for why we have a long gap. We continue to struggle in this country. I didn't know about this stuff. It's just incredibly insightful. So I encourage you to read the book. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's it.
I do have a question for you, Reverend Jones. So when you write the article, do you want it to just stay with an article, or are you also considering doing a press conference? The reason why I said doing a press conference, because that's gonna raise some people's eyes, because some people do read the Capitol, but usually news clips, sound bites are the news mechanism of the day. So just want, consider both.
I'm open to the membership, what the press release said, that's fine, that's a good idea. I just kind of want to stay open here until we have our next discussion. Get some ideas, disseminate this information, because a lot of people already don't know this is. They said, discrimination and stuff like that, we don't know how this is historical, 1860. Can we have a book club on this? Let me tell you something. Get the book, you can't have mine. Get the book, you can have it back 12 people. But in any event, it's just a scholarly work as well as just in this detailed research. And so I encourage everybody to start thinking about this at the next meeting next month in terms of how we get the information out, in terms of what we want to share, and so this is Donnie's idea, it's a good idea, and all favor. I'm not opposed to any way of getting this information. We just want to do it as a branch. I want to make sure what goes out is scholarly, based on data and research, and flow. And we want to controversy, it's not controversy story. We don't deal with that controversy. So that's it. So one more hand. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, here. Yes.
I think question that I have about this.
Okay. This is great.
Yeah, we have a chapter here. I have a directory here. And all of the chapters of NAACP in Maryland go with this, or just Anne Arundel County?
No, I'm not sure the other places are doing, but I will be
If they want to, I guess if they want to, they can.
Sure, that's what this was, and you said that there's certain areas.
Strength and numbers.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to get them on, sometimes I call them, I don't know, I was having a phone call, so I want to catch up with the catch up with
Didn't you say we have a commission coming up?
We do.
So October.
In October. And that's when we had our meeting about it, so they will bring it up on the state division as well. Because I don't know, see, not too many people know these type of details. And a lot of people don't know how to cook either. And so I would like to push this over on the president. I got the president's number to reach out to him. Tell him about the book.
We know the coordinators are leaving, everybody. That's about it.
But we don't know the documentation that's important. This is the book gives you, when you're talking about it, we not just talk about the sky, we give detail. And so we just want to be, because it's such a controversial topic, we want to be soulful and intelligent.
And strong.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, one of the reasons that the caucus decided to concentrate on Anne Arundel County was because every jurisdiction's needs are so different. So, and I agree with the safety in numbers, but I also don't want to lose our message.
But what I
So we have to be careful with that.
But I do want to be aware of the president. I do want to be aware. So I can't tell what the area, but I want to be aware. Many of us are not aware. So I want to take my attention out to do some research, start talking reparations like that. I know we should give reparations, but I didn't know this was the back. And this explains how we got the wealth we got. And the fact that white people got all this land, all this wealth from work that black people did, didn't pass on to the children. So it's like we never get no credit for all the work we done. That's what reparations kind of fundamentally is all about. When are we gonna get a penny for all this billions in terms of what we created in this country? When are we gonna get a penny? That's all.
Thank you for acknowledging me. Thank you. Very interesting meeting, and I'm more and more enthused by what I'm hearing. First time in 60 years that we joined the NAACP, and you see what I see and hear what I hear. I think my enthusiasm is as great as yours. I'd like if we may digress for a moment.
Yes, sir.
You talked about the addressing issues with the police departments.
Yes, sir.
Some of the things that I come from, I retired, September 18th, I retired 25 years from New York State. I've worked with police organizations, state police, and both here in Redwood at one point. Some of the things that come to mind.
My president's report, if I didn't have, I read it. Wait,
some of the things that come to mind with respect to police officers and law enforcement, the education and skills level, levels of those police officers and people in law enforcement. We do not address the issue of the level of employment and education. Let me give you an example. Nassau County Police Department back in 1960 required every person to.
Let me come up 1 minute. What I want to do is, because I want to hear this, and I don't want your pressure. So let me end the meeting at noon, and then I'm not rush. Do what I want you to gotta say. So if you don't mind, you don't have to rush. You take the time. Is that okay?
Yeah, I was going to be quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Nassau County established when we started getting education of black folks, they established 60 credits of an associate's degree in order to join the Nassau County Police Department in New York. When we started getting 4-year baccalaureate degrees, they raised it to a full, a 4-year degree. So that was a way of keeping us out. However, we have people who, organizations like the Knights Columbus and other organizations that were training police officers and law enforcement to get them to take the exam. What we have today are the magnified ignorance of people who do not have a proper education in uniform. And I think that what has to be addressed is people get promotions based on arrests, I call them garbage arrests with narcotics and marijuana and that kind of thing. They all of a sudden they make $70,000, $80,000 a year with a high school education with 10, 12 years of a police department, and all of a sudden they retire with that. So I think that's something that has to be looked at, and I think there's a demand that we have to start looking at to demand that police officers have to have a minimum required education in social skills. That's number one. Number two, the succession employment for abusive police officers. We know in caucus we're addressing that issue now with regard to police officers who leave a police department like one that from County now. That's one police department. They allow them to retire, but there are other police officers who are leaving. They were brought up on charges, so they resign and they move on to another police organization. That has to be addressed.
The law, the police constitution act 2021, it indicates that if somebody leaves one police department, go to another one, they've got to repeal their history.
That's something that has to be, that's something of the law. One more and I'm finished. Yes, sir. Is the residential mandates and requirements for police officers. That is something that I remember all the women's shield relations, they were working towards that. Yes, a few years ago, but I think that's something that has to be brought back to the table. Yeah, because they're living in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, they go use the community and going back to their own communities where racism, where it's a segregated communities, and they have that's their forte that they well, that's another story. But that's something that has to be looked at. Residential mandates required.
Let's make some points. We got to end the meeting. This is a very, very short. Yes, Gary.
I want to end the meeting with a little levity.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to get in touch with Mr. Garrett.
Yeah.
And tell him that you are
That's the thing. So what I want to do is once you read the book, before you explain it well, did thorough research. And so what I want to do is I want to get a motion to adjourn the meeting. I'm going to join the meeting. After I join it, I'm going to say a prayer. Okay, so I'm going to end the meeting. I'll say a prayer. So can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting? Okay. Second. We got that, Mr. Dunn?
Yeah.
Gerald will make the motion. This is really second motion. And the general meeting of the NAACP for Arundel County now stands adjourned.
All right, I'll end the recording. Goodbye, all. Have a good day. Oh, they can leave it up.
Somebody, I used to pray right away. Somebody said, everybody not Christian. So I joined the meeting now.
Oh, well, how about this? We keep it open. We keep it open.
Yes, wouldn't that be up to them just to start off?
Yeah, we can leave it up.
And so let me go ahead and say pass up. And I found out at the national that historically has governing.
Yeah.
So if I stop this enjoying business, I can NAACP back and everybody wants to know that. I was just trying to accommodate everybody to see somebody was equal to whatever. So let's say the prayer. Lord Lord, you are the rock. Your work is perfect. All your ways are judgment. You are God of truth and without iniquity. You are just and right. Now, Deuteronomy 32:4, Lord, we follow you as the only God, true, just, and right. We thank you for your son Jesus who died for us on Calvary's cross. Thank you, Lord, for a meeting that was very fruitful. Thank you, Lord, for the thoughts of everybody. We ask, oh God, that you continue to guide us in this great work of the NAACP. We ask, oh God, that you move on the hearts of those who are actually members. I believe we have over 400 members to see the valuable work of the NAACP and the importance of being a part. Thank you for the new appointees, Lord, who have come on board to do this great work. I ask, oh God, that you bless us in what we're doing to make America more perfect union. Bless us in what we're doing to make society less racist and discriminatory. Bless us in what we're doing, oh God, just to take us higher in our interaction with one another as human beings, so we learn how to love one another and treat one another in a fair manner. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. Thank you, Mr. Donovan, for a fine job as always, sir. Appreciate it. Everybody